I've been thinking about this recently, and I've talked to some friends about this. The church's stance on annulment in marriage. So I always, because close to me, I have a relative that was I come from a Muslim background, but I'm not Muslim anymore. But I had a relative that was like abused by their spouse, like physically.
Yeah.
And
you'd have to go to the priest and have them adjudicate on that.
Okay, but like, do you know what the stance?
Well, I don't know. You said your relative, were they Catholics?
No, they're not. But I'm saying in the general case, like, what does the church see? Because I know that the annulment's like a very
Well, before you ask me that question, is your relative becoming a Catholic?
No.
So I'm confused. Then? How does that concern you?
Well, it's more so just like I just wanted to know, because I'm just like, I don't know. That's those things where you just want to know the answer to the question.
Curiosity killed the cat?
Yeah.
And satisfaction brought it back? One thing I have been told, one thing I do know. This I know. As far as other cases, go to a priest or someone who's an expert in canon law. Do you have Catholics who devote themselves entirely on canon law and its application? Because things change, circumstances change, and you have to now take principles that are fixed and try to apply them in new situations. You can have a principle that's fixed, but that principle, right, is set in a way where you can then make inferences in order to make it applicable for new rising situations that was unknown to the original audience. Now, from what I know, because I had someone contact an expert in canon law, and he texted me this. If you are not sacramentally married, the Catholic Church does not recognize non-sacramental marriages. Now, Catholics, correct me on this. There was a brother in the Lord who texted me who asked a Catholic expert in canon law. So this is what he told me. Okay, so I hope he heard correctly, but from what I was told, the Catholic Church does not recognize non-sacramental marriages, meaning if you got married in City Hall or you just got married in evangelical church, that's not a sacramental marriage. So therefore, it's not a true marriage. In other words, technically, in the eyes of the Catholic Church, you're fornicating.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You want me there?
Yes, I understand that.
Now, what happens in that situation? Let's say one spouse left the other spouse for whatever reason, let's say adultery. Well, the Catholic Church can then give you an annulment because your marriage was not valid to begin with, even though you thought it was, and God meets you where you're at. You didn't know any better, but in their eyes, it was fornication.
Right. Okay. What about in the case of a sacramental Catholic marriage that ends up going badly?
Nope. You can never remarry.
Okay.
If you've been validly sacramentally married in the Catholic Church, you're going to have to stay single.
Okay.
You can't remarry.
Okay.
And where do they get this from? You know where they get this from, right?
Where Jesus says you can't. Oh no, that's not.
Paul.
Not, okay, Paul. Okay.
And he's quoting Jesus. 1 Corinthians 7:10-11, and he's quoting Jesus right here. What does he say? And these are pastoral issues. Ask your priest, brother. Ask the priest.
Okay.
Pastoral issues is what your priest is there to help you with. Now watch. Why is the Catholic Church super strict? If you've been validly married sacramentally, you cannot remarry. So if you divorce, you got to stay that way or seek reconciliation, because they're going by what Paul says here. 1 Corinthians 7:10-11. Catholics, if you want to see why the Catholic Church is so strict, here it is. You ready?
Yep.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Meaning Jesus issued this command when he's on earth. Let not the wife depart from her husband. But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. Now, obviously, there's the spirit of the law. What does the spirit of the law mean? The spirit gives life, the letter kills. 2 Corinthians 3, verse 6. If you're in a marriage where your life is threatened, you're getting beaten and abused, the spirit of the law wants to preserve life. In that context, that woman needs to leave the husband for her safety, and he needs to go to jail or have a restraining order so she doesn't have to stay in that abusive relationship, but she can't remarry.
Okay. So like separation, but not divorce.
Exactly. Right here. So it doesn't mean Paul is saying, if a woman is a punching bag, she's getting beat left and right, and to the point that she may even be killed, she stays there. No. The spirit of the law. God came to give you life, not death. He came to give you life more abundantly. It's the thief who comes to steal and kill and murder.
Okay.
John 10:10.
Okay.
So in that situation, she would leave, get him arrested, thrown in jail, or put a restraining order, but she cannot remarry.
Okay. But then would God still see that marriage as like a marriage, or would he, like, because the person...
It is still a marriage, but it's a marriage in which, because he is abusive, then for her safety, she remains apart from him, but single. You want me there?
Yes, I understand it. I just, like, my heart just, I don't know.
Who cares about your heart, dude? So here we go with my emotions again.
That's true.
Here, let me call heaven and say, can we rewrite the Bible according to people's emotions? What is it about your emotions, man? Of my heart. Your heart is wicked. You're filthy, dude. You're garbage. So who cares about your heart? And I'm quoting scripture here. You want what God says about your heart? You're filthy. You're garbage. You're scum. Here, you think I'm lying?
No.
Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So take your heart and shove it.
Yeah.
Oh, but in my heart, I feel... So you're more compassion loving than God. Dude, what is wrong with you guys?
I guess you got to pray about it. Pray for
I'm giving you what God said. But in my heart, but Jesus, you should have just asked my opinion, because, you're not as merciful as me. I'm a little more merciful than you. What are you, on drugs or something, brother?
No. I mean, like...
So say it again. I want God to hear you say it. But you're what?
I'm deceitful. My heart is deceitful.
Oh, now you changed it. Good. Yeah, good. Hey, Cal again. Your mother needs to chill because she's a whore. Cal Gaiman, tell your mother to chill because she's a whore and you're a whore. And I'm going to chill you, you filthy bastard. All right? So there you go. I like how you changed it, though, brother. But here, God says you're stupid for trusting in your heart. Can I show you that too?
Yep.
But in my heart, brother, in my heart, brother, Proverbs 28:26. I love, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool. See, you're an idiot. So say it again. But in your heart, what?
I am a fool.
Paul, please exercise restraint. Stop being a prostitute like your mother, the whore of Babylon. By the way, when I say their mother, I mean the whore of Babylon, because they're sons of the whore of Babylon. Please exercise restraint. Stop foaming like your whore mother. Okay, you whore? So, brother, you got it right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did God say you are?
I'm a fool.
All right, so tell me about your heart again. How does your heart feel?
It feels against scripture, so it's obviously wrong.